Here we go. Here's our Thanksgiving warm-up since it's so close. It's just 5 days away. Okay, not even 5 whole days anymore. Given TH is congruent to NK, A is the midpoint of HK, and TH and NK are perpendicular to HK. So there's a lot given to us. So that's how we start a proof. Remember, if you don't know how to get started, you start with the given. So we're going to make our T-chart. We're going to have our statements and our reasons. And I'll just start with the first given. Because when in doubt, use the given. Once I've written something on my T-chart, now I can mark it on my picture. And if something flows from that, if there's a conclusion to that, then you need to keep going. But nothing flows from those two sides being congruent. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go to our next given. Kind of ran out of room there. And that is given. I know you can't use the symbols. Good. Okay, so Victor said, after we say that A is the midpoint, we can say HA is congruent to AK. We can say HA is congruent to AK. And Anna, what's the reason we can say that? What's the reason, Anna? And the reason is definition of midpoint. Okay, I'm abbreviating for time's sake. Okay, so let's go to our next given because we've already used up 2 givens. Our next given says TH and NK are perpendicular to HK. So sometimes you would write that as 2 separate statements, but if they give it to us as one whole statement, then we're going to write it in our proof as one whole statement. And so that is given. V, what do you want to say next? Thank you. You're ready to go, V. Good job. So we can name these with one letter. Remember how sometimes you can only name angles with one letter and sometimes you have to name it with 3 letters? Well, we can name these with one letter, so I'm going to go ahead and take the easy way out. So angle H and angle K are right angles. Quinn, what would the reason be? What would the reason be? Why are they right angles, Quinn? Very nice. The reason is definition of perpendicular lines. That was perfect. Alexandria, what do we want to say next? Chloe. Okay, we're going to go with Chloe. Very good. Okay, guys, just because you say that 2 angles are right angles, you haven't stated that they're congruent yet. Remember, we're trying to prove 2 triangles guilty of being congruent. They can't be congruent unless we prove that their corresponding parts are congruent. Just saying that 2 angles are right angles, you have not stated yet. I know you know in your head that they're congruent, but you haven't stated that the 2 angles are congruent. So the next step is angle H is congruent to angle K. And Dustin, what's the reason? Awesome. Good job, Dustin. They are congruent because all right angles are congruent. All right angles are congruent. Now we can do what Alexandria said, and we can say that triangle THA is congruent to triangle NKA by side angle side. Be careful, it's not hypotenuse leg. You don't use hypotenuse leg every time there's a right triangle. Sometimes it's not. And finally, what should we say next, Lars? Good job, Lars. So finally, we're ready to prove angle T is congruent to angle N. We are proving. And every time you say a statement after you've proven the triangle's congruent, then the reason is corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. End of proof. If I teach y'all that at the end of a proof, you can put a little square filled in. It means, okay, I'm done. Yep, there's no new lesson today, so let's check our homework. I hope you can see that. Now, keep in mind, with proofs, there's wiggle room. If yours is a little bit different from mine, if your order is a little bit different, if you use different symbols, for the most part, you don't need to worry about it, but just make sure the essentials are there. Did I talk about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich where, yeah, you've got to get the stuff out of the pantry first. Yes, the last step is you're going to eat the sandwich, but in the middle, it doesn't matter if you get the knife out first or if you put the peanut butter on before you put the jelly on. Peanut butter and jelly is bad for your health. There are worse things. There are worse things. Okay, ready? Here's the next page. I worked number 7 and number 9 on my homework help. So if you're having trouble with proofs before the test, you can go and watch me work number 7 and number 9 if necessary.